Just give me the cue.
Okay, we're ready.
Well, good evening, and thank you for joining this month's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. It is now 6 p.m. This is an 8-member panel board appointed by the cities of South Fulton's mayor and council to hold public hearings to make recommendations on rezonings, use and permits and concurrent variances and applications, comprehensive land use plan, maps, and amendments to the zoning resolution. Tonight, citizens may speak for or against a zoning issue, and each side will have up to 10 minutes total to present its case. Tonight's virtual meeting, citizens may enter their comments and questions in the YouTube chat or email planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. The Planning Commission's recommendations will be forwarded to the city's mayor and council for a final decision on the fourth Tuesday of the next month. We will proceed with the items on the agenda. As this meeting is called to order, we ask staff, would you please call the roll?
Okay, everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great. All right, Commissioner Reynolds,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Hadley,
Present.
Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Walters,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Floyd,
Present.
and Commissioner Weatherly. I see Commissioner Weatherly, but you're muted. Commissioner Weatherly. Okay, we can't hear you. So Chairman, you do have a quorum. Everybody is present.
Thank you, sir. Moving with the items on the agenda, the third item is to approve the meetings from the last meeting. I'm hoping that all commission board members have had an opportunity to look over those meetings and minutes. And if so, I will entertain a motion to accept and approve those meetings. Those
So
minutes.
moved.
It's been
So
so
moved.
moved. Is there a second?
So second, Janai Walters.
It's been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's get a vote. Staff, please.
Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
and Commissioner Weatherly. All right, we still can't hear you, Commissioner Weatherly. You might have to type into the chat. And we lost her.
I had that issue before and I had to do thumbs up and thumbs down.
Okay, so maybe you can try that. All right. Bear with us just a second. Okay, Ms. Weatherly, you can give a yes or no for the minutes. I see that you put something in the chat. Well, we do have a yay for everyone except for Ms. Weatherly.
Well, Ms. Weatherly, if you can hear us, just you can type your comments in the chat. We do see that.
Right.
Shall we move forward?
think she logged out and she's gonna try and log back in.
Hey, Marissa, my business partner as well as Steve Maxey, they said that the link that was sent is not functional. It's not allowing them in.
Okay, can you message me in the chat, please?
I don't know how.
And please turn up your camera like we talked about earlier, please.
Yes, please, let's continue with the meeting at hand. Can we get the commissioners' vote added on later? Is that possible?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay. So let's move forward to the fourth item on the agenda, which is old business. And we will be hearing public hearing to consider petition Z21-003. Staff, would you move forward with that petition, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We can go to the next slide, please. As always tonight, please send your comments to the planning email address, which is planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. And like I always say, remember that GA. If you just do it City of South Fulton, it goes off to the universe. So cityofsouthfultonga.gov. We have that inbox open and are checking for any comments that come through. All the cases tonight will be recommendations to council and will be heard at the July 14th council zoning hearing. That meeting is on a Wednesday next month. Even though it's normally on Tuesdays, the July 14th is on a Wednesday. So just be mindful of that. Next slide, please. Z21-003, a rezoning at 4295 and 4301 Roosevelt Highway. Next slide, please. Here the petitioner is requesting a rezoning from AG1 and C2 to M2 in order to have all of their properties under one zoning classification. The current use there is a metal fabricating company. It is not a foundry or a place where anything is melted down. They make things like decorations for commercial and residential buildings or metal staircases and railings, things of that nature. Both the use and the rezoning request are in compliance with the future land use map. This case was postponed from the previous month's meeting so that the petitioner could submit elevations for future construction of an office on the site. We can go to the next slide, please. They have submitted those elevations, which are in the packet and in this presentation. The staff recommendation here remains approval with the conditions that are outlined in the packet. That's the same from last month and this month. Go to the next slide, please. The parcels in question are in the center of your screen. We'll see once we see the overall site plan. It's a collection of oddly shaped parcels on Roosevelt Highway, but the pin in the center of the screen is accurate for these in question. Go to the next slide, please. On the left of the two parcels we're talking about, outlined in blue, that's the current zoning. You can see all of them are M2, except for this one is AG1 and C2 fronting Roosevelt Highway. On the future land use map on the right, you can see they are all in the same designation as an industrial zone. Next slide, please. This is just an overall view of the current site and all the parcels in question. Again, just showing the odd shape of these parcels. And the parcel to the left of your screen is the only bit fronting Roosevelt Highway. Let me remind everyone listening that we are not going to be reading the YouTube chat. So please send your comments or questions to the planning email address. And we go to the next slide, please. This was a new picture submitted by the petitioner showing a conceptual site plan for parking for vehicles and a building fronting Roosevelt Highway. Go to the next slide, please. And here you see the elevation submitted by the petitioner showing a 3-story brick office building with some, and just to point out, they wanted to make sure they featured some of the work that they do at their business. So they have a wrought iron gate or fencing rather on top of the building. And then the architectural details of the canopy in front, again, showing some metal workings. Just as a note to the board and to anyone listening, all of the fabricating on this site happens off of Roosevelt Highway in the back of their lot. So this parcel or this building would be fronting Roosevelt Highway, would just be their office and showroom space for future customers. And that concludes the staff presentation.
All right, thank you, staff. Are there, we need to open it up for public comment. I entertain a motion to open public comment at this time.
From anyone on board?
Is there a second?
To take the
Second.
floor, I second.
Probably moved in second. Public comment is now open. Staff, is the petitioner available today?
They should be on this chat right now. Is anyone here from?
I'm here now.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Daryl Cook with the engineering firm.
All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, we'd love to answer any questions you might have. We've put together this concept of the building that we'd have out on Roosevelt Road. There's still, this is again conceptual, something put together. It's still has a lot of work going on it, but it gives you an idea of what the owner would like to do in the future. We don't know how near a future that is, but it's certainly the future. But again, the idea, thank you for mentioning again that, he does, the owners there do metal work, and they would like to feature some of that on the exterior of the building as well. And we show pieces of it. There's a lot that can be done. They do beautiful work, and it's a great opportunity to kind of show something very, very classical, yet, very telling of the fine work that he does. Again, the whole idea here was just to get the property rezoned to one zoning instead of these 3 or 4 multiple zonings out there. So we're excited to get this going and moving forward with some future work.
All right, thank you, sir. Staff, was there anyone that is in the email or chat that is against this petition?
I do not have anyone in the planning email.
Okay. Or is there anyone in the planning email that is for this petition?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move forward. Commissioners, are there any questions for the petitioner? I'd like to pose a question to staff. Is there any restrictions noted about the metal being used? Is that at the front of the building to highlight the work that goes on with this particular company? Is there any type of building restrictions as far as using that type of material?
Let me read what is in your packet. I'm going to pull that up for you. The conditions listed on the staff packet say number 1, for the parcel that fronts Roosevelt Highway, Highway 29. Any building shall be used only for an office and or showroom. All parking along Roosevelt Highway, Highway 29 shall exclude semi-trailer trucks. Number 2, the building shall have the look and feel of the surrounding commercial buildings. Therefore, the architectural materials of the facade shall only consist of brick, stone, and or stucco, and specifically exclude aluminum siding and or fabricated metal.
All right, thank you, sir. And again, were there any other questions from the commission, from the board, for the petitioner?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Jones. I'm actually looking for my report on this. I just had it. Don't know what I did with the screen. What is the staff's recommendation?
Approval with the acceptance of those conditions. Again, this request is in compliance with our future land use map for the area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there are not any more questions for the petitioner from the board, I would entertain a motion on this petition.
This is Commissioner Brown. I'd like to make a motion to approve this with the staff recommendations.
This is Shatiqua Floyd. I second.
Been probably moved in second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you take a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
and Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
All right, that vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As we move into the new business, which is item number 5 on the agenda, we will be hearing case petition Z21-004 and CV 21-005. Staff, can you please move forward with this petition? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. As stated, this is case Z21-004 and CV 21-005, a rezoning and concurrent variance at 0 Yates Road. We can go to the next slide, please. Here the petitioner is requesting a rezoning from NUP to mix for the purpose of constructing a mixed-use apartment complex with a focus on senior living. The development consists of 120 units in 18 buildings, along with a few thousand square feet of commercial retail space. The petitioner is also requesting with the rezoning a future land use map change from suburban neighborhood to regional live work in order to accommodate the proposed density. And I will explain that when we get to the future land use map. Next slide, please. Petitioner here is also requesting concurrent variances in order to, number 1, reduce their off-street parking requirement, 2, reduce the size of the required landscape strip, 3, reduce the size of the side yard buffer, and 4, allowed for a road to be built in the improvement setback. This rezoning request does go against the future land use map of the city. Next slide, please. The policy of the city of South Fulton is to maintain compliance with the future land use map so that the growth patterns of that map, the comprehensive plan rather, can be maintained. The recommendation here is denial to the rezoning and concurrent variances due to non-compliance with the future land use map. Go to the next slide, please. The parcel in question is located not at that pin because there was no pin drop on Google for 0 Yates Road. But if you look at the intersection right below that, Marissa, of the intersection of Hathcock and Yates, there's a triangular shaped parcel. So if we go, it's the parcel directly cat-a-corner to the Leicester Chapel United Methodist Church. So the green area right in the center of the screen, directly the center of the screen at the corner of Yates and Hathcock. It's the undeveloped parcel next to an apartment building and cat-a-corner from what is now that big logistics warehouse. We can go to the next slide, please. And you can see this parcel outlined in the center of these maps on your screen, outlined in blue. On the left is the zoning map showing NUP zoning. On the right is the future land use map showing the suburban neighborhood zoning designation. They're actually asking to have their future land use map classification changed to, and I want to make sure I'm reading it right off my chart in front of me, to the regional live work. That is ordered to give the residential density allowance of over 9 units per acre, which is what they are asking for. We can go to the next slide, please. Here you'll see a conceptual site plan of the proposal, and I know the petitioners are on and will walk you through this, so I will not go into all the detail because I know they will. But again, the intersection of Yates and Hathcock, they're proposing to build a loop road around the entire development. You can see several mixed size and mixed design townhome, combined townhome and apartment buildings with the green spaces in the center. They do have off-street parking, and each space would have designated parking for each unit. We can go to the next slide, please. And here you see some renderings and drawings just done to scale to show what the proposed design is of what these rental units would look like from the street. I do believe that you will see these again presented by the petitioner, and they are on the call. And this concludes the staff report.
Thank you, staff. At this time, we will entertain a motion to open public comment.
So moved.
So moved, there a second?
So second, Janelle Walters.
Probably moved in second. Public comment is now open, and we will hear from the petitioner at this time.
Thank you. Could I have the ability to share my screen, please?
How are you, sir?
All right, thank you. Okay, my name is Donald Washington. I'm the founding principal of Bolster Real Estate Partners. We're a 100% minority-owned development firm based here in Atlanta with a focus on developing residential properties. Happy to present the Courtney at Yates Royalty, everyone. This project is a 55 and up active adult community, really focused on empty nesters who are looking to lead an active and social lifestyle without the maintenance of owning their home. And so I'll give a brief overview. Thank you, Nathan, for covering some of the highlights. As Nathan mentioned, the project is 120 units with a significant amount of green space, pocket parks. We really wanted to promote activity and health and wellness. And so you'll see a combination throughout the site plan of attached and detached townhomes with apartment building in the back here as well. The orange areas here highlight the various types of commercial uses that I'll talk to in more detail. And the gray areas here highlight the amount of amenity space that we'll have throughout. And I'll talk through some of those options as well. The city of South Fulton is primed for this type of product. There's the fastest cohort of age population in the city of South Fulton is the 55 and up community. There's a significant amount of lack of supply, I should say, for this type of product. And the existing product in place are all undergoing a significant wait list. And so we feel like this particular type of product can be a great value add to the community. Just some additional details about the project. As Nathan mentioned, it's conveniently located minutes away from Hartsfield Airport. It's also conveniently located to downtown Atlanta as well, and surrounded by a number of business bureaus in the city. The project is also very much so self-contained. We currently have 174 parking spots planned for 120 units. With the combination of our ground level units, in addition to the units that will be connected by an elevator, north of 76% of the units will be accessible to individuals with low mobility or who have restricted mobility. This is an example of what the parking could look like. This is an example of the on-street parking that will all be interior, and then as well as the dual covered parking spots that would be attached to each townhome. We really want to spend time focused on the streets as well, providing enough width for service vehicles, but also have vegetation and walkability on the sidewalks to make it an attractive project for the residents. We took a lot of the community feedback that we've heard so far to think through some of the potential residential retail uses. We're currently considering a small footprint grocery, particularly thinking about a laundry or dry cleaner. We're also looking at having an active adult networking center, a small footprint coffee shop, and in the effort of, again, promoting health and wellness, having a on-site wellness center. All of our designs will be very much so flexible with a combination of detached and attached townhome concepts with individual living at each level. Some will be, most, like I said, 76% of the site will be connected to elevators or accessible at the ground level. Our units will be very flexible as well, consisting of studio, 1 bedroom, and 2 bedroom units. I really wanted to focus on having an attractive, high quality design that was compatible with the existing residential community. So what you'll see here is that we provided the density, but we also were very intentional on the design to have a very attractive, compatible concept that was a fit right into the existing residential community as well as the multifamily that's next door. Here's a view, a conceptual view of what it would feel like if you're actually walking the streets, the vegetation, the large sidewalks, and just the community feel that we're looking to create. Ultimately, we wanted to design this project for dignity, people, active adults who are looking to, have an active lifestyle, who are looking to connect with their neighbors and be connected to a number of options, jumping on the interstate, et cetera. We spent a lot of time talking to the community. We hosted 2 virtual meetings, 1 in person. We were required to send mailers out to individuals within a half a mile of the site. We actually expanded that radius to a 1 mile radius. And we sent out mailers with an overview of the project. We also sent out a notice through the city council's newsletter, as well as the economic development team's newsletter. We've been getting great feedback so far. We have Lenny Greer, who's a local business owner and District 3 resident, who said that she's in support of the project and looking forward to it being developed. Another individual, Harold Taylor, to name one more, is a District 3 resident as well. He liked the concept and is actually looking to become a resident of the project once it's developed. And so I'll yield the remaining of my time to my colleague, Jeff Haymore. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Staff, at this time, is there any comments in the email?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, they asked if another member of their team could speak.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
They asked if another member of their development team could speak. He yielded his time to his colleague.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go right ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, Donald, and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Jeff Haymore. I'm a land use attorney with the law firm of Dillard Sellers. I'd like to point you to the staff report's analysis of the 6 criteria for weighing rezoning requests. Of note, staff found, number 1, the project will not negatively affect the surrounding neighborhood. Number 2, the property does not have a reasonable economic use as currently zoned. 3, the project will not cause an excessive or burdensome use of existing infrastructure. And 4, there are no pertinent conditions or concerns with this site as grounds for disapproval of the zoning proposal. Staff actually describes our project as aesthetically appealing and certainly worthwhile, and we agree with that. I submit to you that the staff greatly wrestled with this case, supports the project, but feels constrained to provide a recommendation of what I call a technical denial based on the comprehensive plan's future land use map, which, while important from a planning perspective, is not legally binding. I say that to you as a former land use city attorney and someone with a master's degree in city and regional planning. We're asking you as the Planning Commission to take a broader perspective of comprehensive planning and recommend approval to the City Council of a desired project that has the support of many stakeholders. Allow me to offer you 7 reasons to recommend approval. Number 1, the comprehensive plan was prepared and adopted by Fulton County over 6 years ago when this area was unincorporated. 2, the comprehensive plan is outdated, evidenced by the city's current efforts to adopt a new comprehensive plan. 3, the comprehensive plan is more than just the future land use map, which is one of many exhibits to the document. Rather, it includes written policies and goals, like page 53, discussing the need for senior housing, including multifamily. 4, the city has adopted more recent plans than the CDP, like its economic development plan, which recognizes an unmet demand for senior housing, and the city's 2020 to 2023 strategic plan, which at page 18 recognizes the limited housing stock is a weakness of the city, and page 30, which lists as an objective to grow interest from developers for senior living. Number 5, cases like Z18-008, that's at Ella Lane, which illustrates the city has recommended and approves rezoning and concurrent land use changes when the future land use map is outdated, such as here. 6, the proposed townhome use is an ideal transitional use from the commercial and apartment to the south to the single family to the north, which Nathan showed you on that zoning map. The current zoning, as found by staff, results in nothing more than vacant land, which serves no one. And finally, as you heard, we received overwhelming positive feedback from adjacent neighbors when we presented our plans in 2 Zoom meetings and 1 in-person meeting. And some of those comments are found at pages 17 to 23 of your case package. Just to conclude, regarding our concurrent variances, we'll rest on our written materials, which show we meet the applicable criteria for this relief. I will point out the staff report does not appear to dispute our written analysis showing satisfaction of the criteria, instead simply repeating its recommendation on the underlying zoning request. We ask that you send forward a recommendation of approval, and I would like to reserve just a few minutes of rebuttal time if there are any comments in opposition. Thank you.
Staff, how much time is remaining?
We are past the 10 minutes for comments in favor.
Okay. All right. Is there, let's move forward. Are there any comments in the email that are for this petition?
No, I do not have comments for it. I do have comments against.
Can we hear those at this time?
Yes, sir. This comment is from Sonia Patterson. This request should be denied in support of balanced growth in the area. It is not in compliance with the land use map. We should ask the petitioner to make this application in compliance with the intended requirements. Her next comment, can the project be single family homes only? No apartments. This area is mostly homeowners, and where is the research showing that seniors want to leave their houses that are likely paid off and move into an apartment? Apartments are not a good idea. A lot of feedback I have heard from my neighbors are not in favor of apartments. All right, let me just check for one more, please. And she furthers with, why so few parking spaces? Why increase the density? Why reduce the requirements that were put in place, more green space, parking requirements, etc.? What is the price point? Who are the intended target seniors? Is this going to be for FMV or income base? We do not want apartments, as they typically bring an undesired element to the area. Please ask them to make some changes and come back to us. Laundry should be an amenity. Do not expect to have laundromat. Check one more place, please. And that concludes the comments against.
All right, sir. Are there any comments or from the board?
I have a comment. Can they repeat what the staff recommendation was in regards to the, I think it was 3 on the list on the thing. Can they repeat that?
In this case, the recommendation is denial for all of the requests due to non-compliance with the future land use map and the comprehensive plan for the area.
And was it ever, was the question ever answered why they didn't comply in regards to the future land use?
Yes, the project as proposed is for much higher density than the future land use map is designated for that area.
Okay.
Check.
That's it.
This is Commissioner Jones. What was that age demographic for this this proposed site?
This is not,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
so this is not an age restricted proposal, but I believe the petitioners would be focusing their marketing and their target audience is on seniors.
So then if seniors did not move into this site, then they would rent the spaces to anyone.
That is the impression I'm under. The petitioner would have to answer that for certainty.
Donald, could you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, our primary focus would be primarily targeting on 55 and up. We went into the community speaking with various city council folks, looking at the strategic plan for the area. There was an overwhelming data supporting the growth of the 55 and up demographic. We also solicited a third-party market study that shared this similar overwhelming data supporting the need for housing for that 55 and up community. So in addition to our specific targeting of that demographic, this will also be a covenant within our HOA.
So the covenant would be that I understand the business model and I understand the demand, but the covenant would be that you would have to be 55 and up to reside at this site?
Correct. We understand that some 55 and up folks may have a spouse who's younger, but as long as the primary person is 55 and up, then they would qualify, assuming that they had a younger spouse, et cetera.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
This is Commissioner Brown. I think it's a very nice development. And so I just want to commend you on the quality of the work and the presentation. I think for my question is for the staff, and I do understand the recommendations. I read the report that you provided. And I know the recommendation is based on what is currently in place with the future, the land use. But you had no objections before. Was it discussed any other way to design this this area to kind of meet the needs of the land use and this project?
Well, I don't really have any particular insight on what the future land use map for really any parcel in the city is going to be for our, because our land use map is being discussed and our comprehensive plan is being updated as we speak. So I'm not able to give a prediction necessarily. So I don't really know if one spot is going to change or not, or if the density recommendations are going to be the same in other places, because that's just not a discussion that has been had yet. And so we have to go off of the plans that are currently in place.
So we're almost kind of in limbo because this could actually change because we don't know, but we know what's in place today.
Well, I mean, the direct answer to your question, could something change in the future? Yes. Is there any, I can't say with any certainty that something may or may not. So I'm not sure that, I'm not sure that hypothetically waiting would result in a different recommendation or land use, classification for that area in the new map. I have no way of knowing that.
And then my last question is to the developer. Was there any other areas in the city that you were considering? Or is this your only and primary location?
This is this particular, the reason why this particular site caught my attention because of the general location. Right now is just vacant land that doesn't have, real possibility of being developed with the existing plan in place. And so connecting with the neighbors, connecting with City Councilwoman Willis, just getting feedback from, the growth story here in the area. This particular site just was attractive for a number of reasons. I felt like it had great proximity to the interstate. It was a great buffer for future large warehouses or large developments by bringing more residential to this area to help protect or add additional shield toward, you know, an overwhelming amount of large industrial use. And so just a number of factors were a part of our decision of making this particular site attractive to us. And, you know, it was available to be purchased as well. You know, there's other sites that may be attractive, but they're not always, of course, available for me to purchase.
And if I could just piggyback off that, as the staff report says, this property's been vacant forever. It's been zoned the way it's been zoned since 2003. Staff concedes that the current zoning for single family backing up to the interstate, its report says it will never be developed as currently zoned. Also, the staff report finds that the proposal will not have any adverse effects on surrounding properties. That's the own staff report. So I think the comment about, you know, timing is really critical here, because the staff, I understand where they're coming from. I've got a degree in city planning, and you look to your comp plan, but this is an excellent transitional use. As Nathan said, catty corner to us is a 500,000 square foot warehouse, and we're transitioning from apartment into single family.
Well, thank you, Mr. Washington, for considering that we could use residential over more warehouse. So I do appreciate your response to my question. I have nothing else. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Jones. Mr. Chairman, may I ask one more brief question?
Please, sir, go right ahead.
Would the petitioner, and I think maybe this was partially asked, but would the petitioner be willing to come back to us with something that fits within the future land use map?
Well, prior to officially submitting my application, I've spent maybe 3+ months with a number of stakeholders, including Councilwoman and team, to really take on feedback and direct input. This is maybe the third or fourth iteration that have all been directly incorporating feedback from city members, stakeholders, and community residents. And so, you know, right now I feel like we've put in a significant amount of time and effort to really bring what I feel to be a great product that is representative of a collective effort from a lot of stakeholders in the community.
And Commissioner Jones, and I'm sorry to jump in, this is Jeff Haymore again. The comp plan right now allows up to 3 units per acre. At 5 acres, that's 15 units. The current zoning would allow those 15 units. It's been zoned that way since 2003. It's never been developed. It won't be developed under current zoning because of abutting the highway. And the staff report says as much. Let me just read you from the staff report. Given the fact that this property abuts the highway, this is not a development type, speaking of single family, that would ever be realized at this location. So your staff concedes it. The 15 years of track record, or more like 20, show that fitting under the current suburban land use, it's not economically feasible. And so the real question is not whether the current zoning is feasible, but what is the feasible zoning? And we've worked a lot with the community. We've reached out. There's been no objection based on density. I understand future land use maps, but they're not binding. And I think we're just maybe in some eyes premature in terms of the comprehensive plan changing. But that's what we're here asking for. And we're asking for you to look into the future and recommend approval. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I will chime in on that. And I like that you brought up looking to the future. And before you can look into the future, you have to look at the past and look at the history of this area. And I'm well familiar with this particular parcel off of Yates Road. And I'm not sure of all the community and people of sort that you have spoken with, but the ones that I have spoken to didn't seem to be too favorable of a project of this magnitude here, because of the way that we're looking at, not we are looking at, but people are looking at what they want to do with that Roosevelt Highway area is not to bring in more living space, but to bring in more commercial business. Now, the notion that it would never be developed because of where it is and so forth, I just can't go with that, statement that it would never be developed. I think that the proper development will go over well. I'm very concerned too about a residential area feeding right off of Yates Road. It is a high traffic area right there. There's not a light there. And so you're bringing in another residential area that's going to be combated with a lot of people, so forth, with so many units. The notion that we have your target audience is 55 and above, there is no guarantee that 55 and above will rent these facilities or I think purchase them. What I'm really seeing here, and this is just my perspective here, is that we are designing and building units for investment properties, and that's something that I think that the city really wants to avoid. But again, the intrusion of the buffers is a concern. Again, it doesn't meet the land use plan, no matter how old you say it is. Those are the rules and guidelines that governs us. We have to take that into consideration. But again, a lot of people in that community and in that area that I spoke to were definitely not in favor of this project. But those are some of my concerns, and just wanted that to be noted by the board. Are there any
And
other?
it's,
I'm sorry.
and it's, I was just gonna say, and it's unfortunate they are not here to speak up about this project. So I think to be fair to our developers, we want to honor the people who have spoken about it.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Brown. You came in kind of choppy there.
Oh, I said it's unfortunate that more people are not did not submit any of their feedback related to the project.
That is unfortunate. But we go out and do our due diligence as board members of the Planning Commission. We have to go out, we have to survey these areas. And in doing so, we have conversation with the community so that we can bring those comments back to the meeting, to the Planning Commission meeting. We have to take solely what the community is thinking and what they're saying, because they're the ones got to live with this in the future. They're the ones that's got to go with, if the 55-year-olds aren't living there, or who are they going to rent it to? Or, we've been down this road before with development like this in that area. That's why that area is sitting like it is now. It was then a community sitting over there just like this. I knew the owner of those properties over there, and it didn't go over well. It didn't fare well in the end. But I'm just stating that we have to be careful when we start to talk about the age requirements, and that's something that we cannot hold to be true. And again, very concerned about the traffic on the Yates Road, Roosevelt Highway area, and also the variances, the buffer intrusion and so forth. So I just wanted that to be noted. Any other questions from the board?
I'd like to make a motion to close public comment.
Motion to close public comment has been granted. Is there a second?
A second, Shatika Floyd.
It's been properly moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, public comment is closed. And I will move into entertaining a motion for approval, denial, or deferral at this time. Staff, I have to ask the question here. I am not hearing any motions being brought by the commissioners. Am I allowed to make a decision to move this to the next agenda, next month's agenda?
We're gonna need a motion and some decision will have to be made.
So a motion has to be made.
I mean, we can't just leave it out there.
Okay, and just to cover bases, and legal will agree with that.
Yes.
I'll make a motion. I motion that we approve the project at Z21-04 and CV21-0050 Yates Road.
Is there a second? All right, staff, there
This
is
is
not,
Janai, excuse me, I'm sorry, this is Janai Walters. I second the motion for approval.
been properly moved and second. Any other discussions? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll vote, please?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hadley,
Nay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly, Commissioner Weatherly,
Nay, my apologies.
okay, no worries. That vote passes 5-2.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, if you would, please, staff.
Thank you very much. Next slide, please. This is Z21006 and CV2107, a rezoning and concurrent variance at 0 Oakley Road. We can go to the next slide, please. The petitioner here requested a deferral to the July 20th July 20th Planning Commission meeting. It was not at the CZIM last month because the deferral request came in very early. So it will be at CZIM July 12th, and I would ask the board that we make a motion to accept the deferral to the July 20th Planning Commission meeting.
Before we entertain a motion to do exactly that, staff, were there any comments on this petition?
Dana, did any comment on this one?
I'm looking now. This is 6. No, we do not.
Yeah. And as I said, this one was not at last month's CZIM. So anyone who may know, anyone in the community who may have just heard through the grapevine about this one, it will be at the July CZIM meeting for sure.
Okay. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the next item, please?
Can I do a roll call vote, please?
Sorry, staff, please get a roll call.
Great. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
That vote passes unanimously.
All right, as we move forward with the next item on the agenda, staff, would you please call the next case?
Thank you so much. Next slide, please. Z21007, rezoning at 5275 Old National. Next slide, please. The petitioner here requests rezoning from C1 to C2 to allow for a tire repair shop in an existing building sharing the site with a Citgo station. The building has been previously operated as the tire shop, but due to our zoning changes, it needs to be rezoned because the tire shop was moved to a different zoning classification. It will be for a new business in the same location that had a similar business in the past. So the proposal here is in compliance with the future land use map for the area, so the C2 would be allowed. The staff recommendation here is for approval. Next slide, please. It is the Sitco directly in the center of your screen at the corner of Old National and Jolly Road. Next slide, please. Here you can see the zoning on the right and the future land use for the left. And again, it is in compliance with our future land use map. Next slide, please. And here's the site plan of the parcel showing the existing structures. And again, there will be no new construction. It's a rezoning just to allow a business in the area as it would have been before. Next, this should be the end of the staff presentation.
All right. Thank you, staff. I entertain a motion to open up public comment.
Motion to open public comment.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, we can. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Walters?
I'm mute. Yay. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
That vote passes unanimously.
Public comment is now open. Staff, is the petitioner available online?
I believe they are.
And we can hear from him at this time.
Hi everyone, my name is Sana. I am representing my parents who have operated this business for about 20 years. They've owned the land for I think 10 years now. But previously we had a tire repair shop in the next door building next to the Sitco gas station. And it's been there for probably 5 or 6 years, but we've always had a business in that area before. And so because of the new zoning ordinance, I think around March 2020 is when the previous tenant left. And since then, we haven't had a tire repair shop in that area. So really, this request would be to have a tire repair shop there again. And then to also have the new tenants who had invested a lot of money in this tire repair shop to be able to operate. They currently work at another small business on Old National Highway, and they're also anxiously awaiting a decision so that they can have their tire shop be operational.
All right, thank you very much. And staff, is there any comments in the email for this petition?
Okay, 1 second. I'm reviewing what I received. And it appears I have 2 that are against, and I do not have any that are for.
Yeah, can we read the against comments at this time?
Yes, sir. The first one will come from Michael Venable, as there is an oversaturation of tire shops in the area. This petition should be denied. Old National is plagued with these intense commercial usage that have negatively affected the area. The C1 designation falls more in line with the surrounding area. The original intent was for an auxiliary automatic car wash, not for a separate business. A tire shop or repair center was not the intended use. This use does not fall in line with any redevelopment efforts. There has been no physical improvement to the property in decades. The next comment is from Sonia Patterson. We do not need any more tire shops on Old National. We need to have a plan for quality commercial development for the corridor. Do not approve. And that concludes.
All right. Are there any questions from the board members? The board members still online?
Yes, we are.
Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, well, I would like to say also that in this area, there are quite a few car shops, tire shops that are all up and down the old national corridor. And as well, I think staff, correct me if I'm wrong, that this detachment from the building is not acceptable um, according to city ordinances. Am I correct?
I'm not sure what ordinance you're referencing.
Okay, well, there was, I think an ordinance passed that any automotive building, it couldn't have a automotive shop detached from the actual building.
I'd have to go and do some research on that one. I do know these are all existing structures and have been that way for a long time.
That is correct, but I do believe that when we do that research on that, I think you'll find that to be true.
Chairman Reynolds, is a tire shop considered an automotive shop, or is it the gas station part?
It's one of the same.
It's the same. Okay.
When you talk about, you're still doing automotive repair. Are there any other questions from the board members?
Yes, I have a question, Chairman. This tire shop has already been existing, or to my understanding, it's a separate building now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's been there for, I think the previous tenant was there for about 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Hadley. What was staff's recommendation on this?
It is in compliance with the future land use map for the area, and so staff recommended approval on this.
So what were some of the, I know that we only had like 2 comments that came through the email. Were there any other participation at the community meetings with the petitioner?
No, we held 2 Zoom meetings, if that's the one you're referring to instead of the CZIM, but we held 2 Zoom meetings, one in the morning, one in the evening on 2 separate days, but nobody showed up. And we had included all of the information in the letter that was sent to everyone in the quarter-mile radius list provided by the city planning team.
This is Commissioner Jones. What time were those meetings on Tuesday?
The ones that we held?
Yes, please.
1 second, I can pull it up. It was back in May. I'm so sorry. There was one at 6 p.m. and there was one at 10:30 a.m. So we held 2 just because we know people had varying schedules. And I believe one was on a Thursday and I think the other one was on a Tuesday.
How are we obtaining the information to get out to people to join in on these meetings?
I think it was Dana that sent me the quarter-mile list. And so we were required to send them a letter and we provided receipts of these letters. So there were about 79 letters that went out. There was 1 repeated address on the list. And so they went to everyone in a quarter-mile radius, but it was mostly, the area is very commercial. So it was just to a lot of the neighboring businesses, a lot of whom are familiar with my parents and this business.
Okay. Within a quarter-mile radius of this project, there is a very high density of homes that sits on that corridor, mine being one. So I was very curious as to how people were reached, as I didn't receive any information about it as well, but that's neither here nor there for me, because I am always abreast as to what is being done or what's going on with these meetings. Thank you to staff as well. Okay, are there any other comments from the board? Hearing none. I'm sorry.
That, yes, sir, I was going to make a comment that I do agree that there's quite a few tire shops and businesses of a similar nature in that area. The concentration is already pretty high.
I also think the other thing that my parents had mentioned was I think rezoning to C2 just opens up our options to be able to have a business there. And so if, you know, I'm not sure what another great accessory would be to a gas station. Like in terms of like, intuitively, it makes sense to have some automated repair shop there, whether it's tire or something else. But we'd be also open to suggestions.
So the building right now is vacant. It's not being used?
No, no, ma'am.
It's not being used. Okay.
The Citgo gas station, though, is operational. So that is being used. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to verify. I thought the report said it was vacant. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to close public comment.
Motion has been properly granted. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams.
Nay.
Thank you. Commissioner Floyd
Yay. Yay.
and Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
That vote passes.
Thank you, sir. Public comment is now closed. We'll move into obtaining a motion to approve, deny, or defer.
This is Commissioner Jones. I make a motion to deny Z21-007.
This is Commissioner Walters. I
have
second
a
the motion. Sorry.
Question.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion?
I have a question. So we are actually not approving a tire shop. We are looking at the rezoning of the space, right?
That is correct.
I just want to make sure that that's clear. So we're determining if we're going to rezone it from C1 to C2 because the definitions have changed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Staff, can you call the roll vote, please?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Brown,
Can you repeat what Commissioner Jones's actual motion was?
Commissioner Jones' motion was to deny the application
rezoning?
Zoning from C1 to C2.
So my vote is nay. I'm voting against the denial. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Hadley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
The vote passes 6-1 to deny this application. Recommendation of denial of this application.
Thank you, sir. Staff, can you call the next petition?
Yes, sir. Next slide, please. This is Z21008 and CV21003, a rezoning and concurrent variance at 0 Enon Road. Next slide, please. It was advertised, but I will make a note that this petitioner has withdrawn this application at this time, and so there'll be no further movement on this case or site plan. We can go to the next slide. Z21009, a rezoning at 7445 Old National Highway. Next slide, please. Here, the petitioner has requested rezoning from C1 to mixed for the purpose of developing a townhome community with a commercial parcel fronting Old National. However, yesterday, he and I had a long discussion about what they should present moving forward and how prepared they were for the meeting. And they have asked for a deferral to refine their proposal and bring a better concept back to the Planning Commission next month. So staff recommends that we accept the request for deferral until the July Planning Commission meeting for Z21009.
Were there any comments in the email?
9. No. No, sir, we do not have any comments.
Okay, with that being said, then we will move forward with entertaining a motion to accept the deferral.
So moved.
And probably moved. Is there a second?
I second.
And probably moved in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll vote, please?
Yes, I will. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
That vote passes unanimously to defer Z21009.
Thank you, sir. Can we move forward with the next case, staff?
Yes, sir. Next slide, please. And we can keep moving to the next case. Thanks, Marissa. Z2110, CV2104, U2105, a rezoning, concurrent variance and use permit at 5371 Old National. Next slide, please. Again, because of what advertised, I just want to make mention that the petitioner has withdrawn the application. So these cases will not be proceeding forward in any capacity at this time. And we can go to the next slide. Z2111, a rezoning at 0 Estes Drive. Next slide, please. Petitioner here is requesting a rezoning from R3 to TR for the purpose of developing a townhome neighborhood. Property is currently undeveloped. Proposal here is for 54 townhomes and is in compliance with the future land use map for both zoning type, the townhome, and the density, 54 units. Staff recommendation here is for approval with conditions. The condition requested by the council member was for 4-sided brick buildings. Now we can go to the next slide, please. The parcel here is in the center of your screen at the end of Ravenswood Drive and at the end of Estes Drive. It's sort of a triangle / parallelogram shaped parcel, which you will see on the zoning maps. But this parcel is in the center of the screen and it is undeveloped at this time. Next slide, please. Here you can see the zoning and future land use map. Zoning on the left, future land use map on the right, showing it's currently zoned R3. And for the future land use map, it is in compliance with the Suburban 2 neighborhood designation. You can go to the next slide, please. Here's a site plan submitted by the petitioners. Just running through it very quickly, you see the townhomes, guest parking, nature trail as an amenity, more guest parking and a mail kiosk area, along with some other amenities such as a play area and I believe some other community garden facility in the front of that. Obviously, just townhomes, and the roads would connect from Ravenswood up through Estes Drive. Next slide, please. These are some sample townhomes submitted by the petitioner. I would note that these examples would not be in compliance with the conditions that were suggested by the council member for this area, but were sent in by the petitioner. That is the end of the staff report.
Thank you, staff. All right, entertain a motion to open public comment.
Motion to open public comment.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Brown seconds the motion.
You can probably move in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
Vote passes to open public comment.
Thank you, sir. Is the petitioner available?
Yes, Michelle Battle here with Battle Law, 1 West Court Square, Decatur, Georgia, 30030. We sent over a PowerPoint for staff. I'm not sure if they could put that up for me.
Michelle, when did you send that?
Okay, we'll leave with what you have. If you've got to go through that, don't worry about it.
We could share. I mean, you can share your screen if you have it available.
I do.
Marissa, you can give Michelle access. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. So Michelle Battle again with Battle Law representing the applicant. We are looking at, again, developing a townhome community under the TR zoning district requirements for this 10.96 acre tract. The property at R3 actually is consistent certainly with the suburban 2 neighborhood, but so is the TR at the density proposed. Suburban allows for 3 to 5 units per acre on the site. We have a total of 54 units that we are looking at to develop on the property. You can see that there are CUPs on both sides of this lot in a MIX project across the street. The CUP north of the site was a cluster home type development. We believe that this property is suitable for the 54 units that we are proposing. Some of the benefits that we have, excuse me, to this project is that by having the townhome configuration, we are saving a lot of green space within the interior of the site. You can see that we've got the walking trails as well as the protection of the stream buffer along the rear. Our walking trail is permissible in the area as shown. Additionally, we have the additional parking and the open green space areas for the community to enjoy. We believe that the proposal is consistent not only with the comp plan, but with infill development that will continue to help for the growth and development of this community. While we are looking at elevations that are not technically compliant because they the condition proposed is 4-sided brick, we do think this is representative of the type and style of units that you would see. This is different than what you normally have seen with kind of the standard townhome type look that we've begun to see in many of the communities throughout. With regards to this space, we're looking at the units being between 1,800 to 2,500 square feet with 3 to 4 bedrooms, double car garage, and 2 exterior parking spaces. We'll have front entry. The list price on these will be in the low 300s. It is not a gated community, but we will have cameras located within the common areas that are proposed. With that, we are open to having some type of rental cap. We believe that this was going to be something that will be anticipated to be for young professionals and empty nesters who might have an interest in being within this community. We are having a follow-up community meeting on June 28th at 6 p.m. In case there are any questions that are raised by the community. We did have a previous meeting, but we did want to be able to go back and answer any further questions that may be had. So with that, we would respectfully request a recommendation of approval to City Council. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you're muted.
Commissioner Reynolds, you're muted.
You're still muted, yes.
I'm so sorry. I was asking if there were any comments in the email.
Yes, sir. Okay, I have, these are opposed. So I have one from Clyde Sampson II. I am opposed to this townhome development. They had a community meeting and everyone on the call was against it. This development will cause major traffic problems for Estes Drive in Ravenswood. No traffic light is planned for each outlet onto Buffington. It says Estes Drive is directly facing each side across Buffington Road. A left-hand turn is hard now, but with the additional vehicle traffic from this development without a light will cause problems. I remain opposed to this development. My next comment is from Michael Venable. This rezoning should be denied as it will result in a distinct density increase dead in the center of a less dense residential area. Also, there is no committal amenity such as a clubhouse with kitchen facility, indoor meeting area, pool, etc. That would deter non-owner occupied purchasing, unlike the passive amenities listed that investors skirt. This would negatively affect the surrounding subdivision and does not promote socio-economic housing diversity, which is severely lacking in this area. The next comment is from Sonia Patterson. Good afternoon. I appreciate the ability to voice my opinions about the plans within my city. In looking at the information online, this petition for a change, Proterra is asking to change from R3 to TR. First off, does Proterra have the ability to suggest developments as designed by the city's existing zoning guidelines, or does Proterra feel the need to continually request for rezoning amendments which are put into place to take into consideration the needs of the constituents and the ecology of the area that benefit the developer, with a question mark? I am sure there are other areas that are so designated TR that Proterra can consider, which, if our planning committee has done its job, ensure that traffic studies, impact studies, etc., are already done to justify townhouse residential density. What accommodations will be put in place to ensure that green space is preserved properly? Would also like to know more about the amenities. What amenities will be provided in the children's play area? Where will there be a pool? And what about the width of the streets? We are already having a lot of issues within neighborhoods where resident parking overnight on the streets and make it difficult for other residents to service vehicles to safely pass. What is the planned setback for these properties? From the picture in the application packet that I viewed online, the units look very close to the road. Can we ensure that the units are set back enough to provide driveways long enough to assure parking on the property and not on the streets? What is the sale price target for these homes? Who are the target market for these units? I hope we can have answers to these questions before you are able to vote on this during the upcoming voting sessions. I think these are questions other COSF constituents would also like to know the answer to as well before we would wholly support such a project. Looking forward to hearing more about this project. Sonia Patterson, District 2 resident. And that concludes.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the board members? Questions or comments?
This is Commissioner Brown. I do have one question for Attorney Battle. I noticed that there was a recommendation, and you may have covered this, and if I missed it, I apologize, that this be a four-side brick building, but I also saw that the price point was at $200,000, the recommended price point. Has that changed?
The recommended price point is 300.
Okay.
Not 200.
So I think that, okay, so the information that I was reading in the report may just be old.
Yeah. So
it was question number 4 on the public participation plan report on Form E. So it should be, so it would be a starting price point at 300,000, and would it still be four-side brick?
That is what has been requested. I think that my client will accommodate that. We will have to continue to have conversations with the council member, but we certainly are willing to move forward as proposed.
Okay. So possibly some change from the siding at some point.
I don't think there's any question that we can do 3-sided brick. We had
but maybe not 4.
Maybe not 4, but you know, whatever you all's preference is, we'll continue to work with that. He asked for that change. We know we can do three-sided. The 4 is a little tight, but I'm sure we can have conversations regarding that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner? Any other questions from the board?
No, sir, but I have a comment, if I may.
Go right ahead, sir.
I like the recommendations that staff had. I like the overall layout, and it looks like it, from understanding, from what I've heard, it does fit the land plan use map. It may be a benefit or a good development for the area.
You care to repeat that, Mr. Hadley?
I said I think it may be a good development for the area, considering the conditions are met that staff recommended.
Okay, thank you for your
Thank you,
comment.
Commissioner.
Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Brown again. Mr. Chair, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
I was flipping through. I've reviewed the report that we received, and I've heard the comments that have come in related to transportation. Has the developer, are there any plans around the traffic lights or any turning lanes or anything that has the developer, Attorney Battle, have you all talked to Department of Transportation about anything related to that and traffic flow?
We have not had any indication that we were going to need to do anything with regards to anything other than Ravenswood. There was some discussion about whether or not improvements would need to be made to Ravenswood. We do know that Buffington Road is set for some expansion, I think I think it's going from 2 to 4 lanes, or there's some additional lanes that are going to be added to Buffington. That should help traffic flow in that area. But to my knowledge, there has been no mention of any types of other improvements, lights, or anything of that nature along Buffington. And certainly that not proposed for a project that's only 54 units. I know
Units,
that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks again.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for the petitioner. Why not build what's existing in the area now? Why the townhomes?
We believe from a pricing perspective, the cost of building is significantly higher now. That would provide for a lower density. We don't want to reproduce kind of the cluster homes that have been there for Horton, though they are not kind of in the price point that we want to be in on this site based on what the price point of the land is. And additionally, we want to provide an alternative housing option in this area. Everyone does not want kind of the traditional single family detached home. This is at the back end of a community where there really hasn't been any development. We're on the back end of a creek. We want to tighten the site up so that we do have more green space available, as opposed to doing kind of a traditional subdivision, which would actually result in taking up more of that green space and disturbing more of the area. So we believe that this is a great opportunity to bring a higher end townhome product that should help with values in the area, as well as bringing in quality development.
Also, I mean, I'm looking at the design that was presented here. Is definitely not what is being proposed to be. So, excuse me, I would definitely like, when things are presented to the board, that it's being presented, as what we should be hearing and commenting and voting on, and not looking at something that, obviously is not going to be what the building looked like.
With all due respect, this is what the building will look like. The only difference is it'll have brick on the side that you're looking at here, as opposed to the siding. So that's really the only difference. Otherwise, the facade and the look of the building will be exactly identical.
Okay. And I'm looking too at your garage and your space there. That looks really tight to the street. You know, I know that's a concern as well. But again, I would have loved to have seen the break in place there. And bringing in this type of development again against the community's wishes, for a lack of term. I think that we are taking ourselves down a pathway of definitely redesigning or uprooting life as it is from when people bought their homes. They didn't foresee bringing in apartments or townhomes when they went to purchase their home. So I could understand their concerns from that standpoint as well. But again, are there any other questions from the board members?
I have one last question. What's the proposed square foot each unit?
Who was that
Attorney-
question?
We said 1,800 to 2,500 square feet.
Up to 2,500, so which is pretty a nice size unit. And I just want to also kind of agree with Commissioner Hadley. I think it's a nice facility, and I think I heard one of the comments about diversity in the area. I think this does bring diversity, right? If we have cluster homes, single family homes, and if we have townhomes for sale, we have a nice option to offer a variety of different types of needs, and we can meet needs of a variety of different types of buyers. So I wanted to just also mention, I think it's a nice project. I did hear what Commissioner Reynolds did mention about, you know, us trying to have something as close as possible. But I think if this is what it's going to look like, will it also be this light color brick? This kind of whitish color and
Yes,
the dark brown? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
I love the fact that you bring up diversity. You know, we want to make sure diversity is broadened throughout the city and not just in certain areas. Just want to keep that in mind. Is there any other questions from the board members? If there aren't any, can I get a motion to close public comment?
I make so moved.
Second.
A second.
Been properly moved and second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yay.
That vote passes to close public comment.
All right. Thank you, sir. Now we'll entertain a motion to approve, deny, or defer.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the rezoning at Z21-001 Old Estates Drive from R3 to TR.
I second the motion.
Probably moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, was there any consideration to the staff's recommendations?
Oh, I'm
Recommendations.
sorry. You are exactly, I meant to say approve to seek rezoning with conditions.
Okay, you want to go through your
I need to
motion
read-
again?
I can if I need to. Yes, sir.
And you can add recommending.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to rezone property as Z21-001 Old Estates Road for rezoning from R3 to TR with conditions as listed in the staff recommendations.
And
Second.
you probably moved in second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you please call the roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Abstain.
abstain. Commissioner Walters,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
That vote passes with 6 yeas and 1 abstain for the rezoning of Z 21-0011.
Thank you, sir. Staff, would you call the next case, please?
Yes, sir. Our next and final case for the night. We can go to the next slide. U21004, a use permit at 2220 Jonesboro Road. Next slide, please. Here, the petitioner is asking for a use permit for a salon. This is for a business with the salon suites concept, which is very popular now. I'm sure everyone is familiar with that, where each individual stylist has their own room within one business. The location had previously been a salon, but they are renovating the space. Current zoning is C1. The use is allowed in the current zoning with a permit, and the staff recommendation here is for approval. We can go to the next slide, please. The building is in the center of your screen there in an existing commercial development right at the corner of Old National and Jonesboro. Let me go to the next slide, please. You can see on a future land use map and a zoning map here, everything is in compliance. Next slide, please. Here is a diagram of the proposed renovations for the salon suites. Again, you will see that each stylist would have their own individual room in the facility, as opposed to one large room with all of the workstations in it collectively. And that is the end of the staff presentation.
All right, thank you, sir. At this time, we're entertaining a motion to open public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd, Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly.
Yes.
That vote passes to open public comment.
Thank you, sir. Is the petitioner here?
Can you see me? Okay.
Yes,
there I
sir.
am. There I am. Yes, sir. Hi, my name is Daryl Milam, representing Bond Salon Suites. Yeah, definitely we introduced a special use permit to seek approval for allowing the second of, this is the second of 2 salon suites that we actually have going on. This is my first time being on a Zoom call, so excuse me for my nervousness. I didn't know it was going to be this this technical. So, but I would like to open the floor for any questions that you might have in regards to this new business model that we're offering in the city of South Fulton.
Staff, are there any comments in the email? For or against?
Let's see. We do have a comment. It looks like it is against. Okay, and I'm proceeding to read. This is from Michael Venable. It is time for this area and community to turn the corner and get on destination path. There is an oversaturation of hair salons along the entire Old National Corridor that has negatively stereotyped the area. Because of the discriminatory way the land use plan is presented, you notice that hair salons, starter or rental residences, and automotive service and repair stations always come before you in southern South Fulton, comma, always, exclamation point. Residential and commercial areas in the Old National area will never normalize until all of us see through the game. There are way too many of these like uses in one part of the city. Deny this application and be part of the positive growth. And that concludes.
I'd like to speak to that if possible.
Please.
Yes, our business model is, and we've been in business with this particular business model for 3 years. Our first location is located at 3425 Cascade Road in the Kroger's Plaza. It's a almost 4,500 square foot salon suite operating unit, which facilitates for business owners their own individual business. It's unlike anything else that you see out here. So it's not like the traditional open floor salon suite or salon concept. We've moved away from that. We've been in the salon business for 15 years. We were originally from Indianapolis, and we had business open floor salons in Indianapolis. So we moved over to the closed space salon suites business model prior to COVID. We were one of the few salons that were able to make it through COVID because of how our business model operates, meaning that we have individual suites that we lease out to business owners and they become their own business. So we facilitate the professionals to do what it is that they do, but we don't oversee their business operations. So again, we were one of the only salon suites concepts that we know in the city of South Fulton that was able to make it through COVID. A lot of salons and barbershops and the like were not able to make it simply because of the 6 feet distancing. Our business models is 2 different business models. We have a Model A and a Model B. The Model A is a 4,000 to 5,000 salon suites concept. The Model B is usually a 12 to 14 salon suites concept. The Model A is what we're proposing to do over on Jonesboro Road for the sole purpose of coming into compliance with COVID, also delivering privacy in a luxury, up-to-date, modern version of what people have always known to be barbershops and salons. So it's a concept that facilitates everything: braids, twists, locks, you name it. Barbers, estheticians, makeup artists, all under one roof, almost like a one-stop shop. So, to our credit, we believe that our business model outshines anything else that has been out there. Right now, we're at 100% capacity at our first location with a 15 people waiting list to get in the second location if approved.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the board members? Question, sir. How are your rooms divided? What divides your rooms?
We have metal studs with a 1/2-inch drywall with soundproof insulation. We have floor to ceiling walls. So for the most part, you don't hear any sound from room to room. Okay. Traditionally, the size of our suites are between 80 square feet to 90 square feet. With this particular business model, we're going a 90 square feet to 100 square feet in each salon suite unit. And we propose to put 20 suites in the 4,000 square foot location that we're endeavoring to do.
It's pretty tight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've put a lot of thought.
No,
what it is.
I mean the size of your rooms is pretty tight.
Oh, no, it's
that's pretty large.
It's quite large.
Yeah, I go to a salon suite, and that's a lot of space.
Yeah,
considering what I've seen in other units.
Yeah, but you're saying that you're going to put how many suites in that unit?
Our floor plan suggests 19, but we believe that we can get 20 in there. The model calls for 20. We believe that we can do it. And that's taken into consideration ADA accessibility for 2 bathrooms, male and female bathrooms. We bring a totally different concept from secured entry to cameras throughout, outside of the building, inside of the building, pop button accessibility after 6 o'clock, so that you would literally have to be buzzed in, buzzed out. We are the facilitator for professionals that look for ideas like what it is that we bring. Okay, so we come in and we offer unfurnished as well as furnished suites. So everything is all in-house, our business model. I don't know if I was trying to see if I could share the screen so that I could show you some real pictures of what our business model actually looks like, as opposed to just the image that was shown.
Mr. Chairman, can you do that? Mr. Chairman, can he do that?
If possible.
Yeah, you should have the ability to share your screen right now, sir.
Let me see here.
And again, he did say that its average square foot of the suites are about 90 square feet.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
I don't see how I can share. I don't.
There should be a green button sort of at the bottom of your Zoom portal here that says share screen.
Okay, here we go. Let me see here.
No, you're not getting it.
No, I'm not getting it.
Okay.
I'm not, definitely not getting it.
Thank you for trying.
I did deliver for you guys an actual business deck. It should read Introduction to Bond Salon Suites. So that's just the floor plan. But we did put in the packet a full business deck surrounding Bond Salon Suites and the concept thereof.
Do we have that, Mr. Chairman?
I don't know that I have seen that. I'm not sure I have it digital. I'm looking at my files on my computer. I'm not sure that I see that. If I find the file really quickly, I could certainly share my screen. I just don't see that.
Yeah, we submitted it on a thumb drive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I just don't have that file at my fingertips here. So, but I believe you. I just don't have it at my fingertips to share.
You're occupying that whole building there?
No, we have I think it's suite 100 and 101 A and B.
101 A and B.
It's the old Rick's barbershop.
Right, exactly. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
That's why I know that shop well. So
yeah, well, we're not bringing that shop. Trust me.
No. I know the size of it. I know the dimensions of it. I know the square footage of it. That's why I made the comment that I did. That's why I asked you, were you occupying that entire suite, that whole side?
Yes, sir.
You are. Okay.
So I've got a question and a comment and a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
So obviously, love the business model of empowering other businesses and other Black businesses. 100 years past the Tulsa massacre, I believe in building wealth in our community and in our city. The concern that I have is with this model, it seems to, and I want you to excuse excuse my sentiment, but one person's salon suite is another person's flea market.
Oh no, sir. No, sir. We're
let me finish if I will, please. If I could, please. Thank you. So help me in this, right? Help me. And others that would see it this way, because we do see flea markets in our community, okay, or near us. Tell me how this model stays a salon suite ongoing, and that if this should be approved, that 10 years from now, this spot won't become a mini market.
Well,
of a hybrid of different businesses.
In respect to, and I know exactly what you're saying because I've seen that here in the city of Atlanta. It's the first time I've ever seen that outside of saying, okay, you're going to put a salon suite situation together and then it turns into a turkey shoot. You know, it becomes wild with its head cut off. You know, the beauty of our business model is that you first have to submit an application, and you first have to be a licensed cosmetologist or barber. You have to be a licensed esthetician, a loctician. You have to have all of your credentials. We screen that. We do a background check for the former locations that you used to operate in to make sure that you have a good working rapport with them. The only professionals that we allow in our facility are licensed cosmetologists, master cosmetologists, estheticians, barbers, makeup artists, massage therapists, braiders, and locticians. That's it. And if there is already a pre-existing nail salon, we will not even allow nail techs to come in. Okay, so we're very, very strict about how we screen those professional personalities that are attempting to reside their business under our auspices. We're very, very strict. We receive some of the highest marks in the city of South Fulton, where our first salon suites reside, in the Kroger shopping plaza right there at Cascade Road off of 285. We took the old Blockbusters that used to be there that had set for 8 years and turned that into something that is a marvel. And we have maintained 100% capacity, bringing in 750 people foot traffic. The majority are women. Only 20% of the stylists in our salon, our current location, is barbers. The majority of the foot traffic is women. So, and we strategically set up even the entry points of coming in on the 4 corner parameters. We have barbers on each corner to facilitate the security of the women that come in to get service along with their children. Because of how our business model operates, it's truly a one-stop shop. It's not, everything is torn out. We go in and reconstruct everything from floor to ceiling. Even the ceilings are torn out. We bring in new HVAC, we bring in the sprinkler systems, we make sure that everything is in compliance. As I mentioned before, we make sure that the walls are soundproof. Everybody has digital entry for their own salon suite doors. They have keys for the front door. What we maintain is the common areas. We have staff that come in and clean 2 to 3 times a week. We bring in the COVID team to make sure that we're in COVID cleaning compliance. So we're not, to my surprise, when we opened up business here, we expected something different than what we seen, which was what you announced on, how can we ensure that things will not transition over into something less than what we have proposed. Number one, we're doing, anytime we go in and sign leases, we do 7 to 10 year leases. We're very, very serious about the money that we spend. And
so
with
your clientele are with you, your clients or your suite owners, excuse the ignorance of the term, but your clientele is with you from 7 to 10 years?
No, what we do is we have a 1-year minimum lease, okay? And we only lease business to business. We do not lease business to individual. So what we do in essence is we force those professionals that may not have known that they could be independent business. We force them to be a business owner. Okay. And with that, our minimum lease requirement is 1 year. Okay. On average, what we're seeing is 3 years and 5 year lease obligations, simply because when you are a professional and you're fighting for your dinner table, and you use your hands for that fight to service your clients, when people come in and take a look and get a true temperature read of what we have to offer, which is far different. I'm talking about we're way into the future, as opposed to what you've seen traditionally with traditional open concept barbershops as well as salons. You really get a luxury professional experience when you step into our location.
And so my final question to you on that is, and the word I was looking for was tenants. So your tenants, you said that basically they're their own businesses. So you do not, as long as they fit the parameters of being a loctician or you know, you don't dictate what they do in their individual businesses or how they conduct their businesses. Is there a code of conduct?
There is a code of conduct. There is a code of conduct, and we monitor that code of conduct. The beauty of our business model, especially in the city of South Fulton, is the city of South Fulton requires that they not only have to purchase a zoning license, a zoning certificate, but they also have to register their state registered business with the city of South Fulton.
Right.
Okay. So it's and you know, for the kind of money that we spend building out a business model, we're at about $85 to $95 a square foot, multiplied by 4,000 square feet. So when you're talking about that kind of money, we're not playing with the caliber of professionals that we allow to come in to occupy space in that facility. Our whole goal is to change the mental dynamic, the social dynamic, and the social experience for tenants as well as their clients. Our goal is to make our business model a safe haven that has never been seen before. Most people, when they go into our Cascade location, they say, most people, tenants as well as clients, they say, this looks like something that should be in Buckhead. And I said, no, it looks like something that should be exactly where it is. Because we don't think that we deserve something like that. But we're willing to put our money where our mouth.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And one final note, I do understand where you are, Commissioner Jones, and I will ask staff to comment on this question that I have. And not saying that this will happen, but say that one of these units are being used to say sell hair or hair products and not fixing hair and so forth. Would that be allowed, staff?
So I don't necessarily have an opinion on, you know, each what each individual is doing, policing their, you know, individual activities. What I will say is that the only things that would be allowed by their business license. So if he's getting a business license to operate a salon, which he is, that's what's going to be going on there. Right. You know, if he then is requiring his tenants to adhere to certain contracts with him for them to rent a space from him, they would obviously be obligated to do that. So, you know, what any tenant that goes in there would be subject to the same zoning requirements that the overall business would, because it's all the same address. So there wouldn't be any deviation. You couldn't have one rogue person in there doing something that would be against the fundamental use of the property. If that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay,
so much.
perfect.
Yeah. So with that
and let me add this one point too. If you know, and again, I'm not necessarily commenting on the details of his business model because that's not my area of expertise. But if each individual tenant was their own business, they may very well have their own personal business license as well. So then there would be then layers of approvals going on here on top of that. So a lot of eyes would be on it.
Right. So, and that's one of the things that we're looking for to prevent these types of things. So, I'm not saying that they're going to happen, but we want to make sure that they don't. So, with that being said, are there any other comments or questions by the board? All right.
No, Mr. Chairman, I did want to state that, I do appreciate everybody, thinking about safety first. I too enjoy private salon, but first and foremost, we want to make sure that everything that we're doing is safe for the community.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. If there are no more comments or questions, we'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
This is Nathan. I want to ask one staff question, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
I only ask because, I go and get my hair cut at a salon, basically the same layout as this. And, because the last time was about safety is why it came to my head. But, where I go, I basically have to text my stylist to let me in. And then she comes to the door and then we walk back to her room and so on. Are the doors to your businesses open, or does the stylist always have to come to the front to let in their clients? I think that would be a good clarification.
In the daylight hours, and because of how the professionals operate, most of them operate on a booking platform. Okay, so once we get to the late hours, say 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, then the doors are locked. And what we have is a modern monitoring concept that is in the hallways that allows the business tenant to interface with whoever is attempted to be buzzed in at the front door. So you can literally see and talk to, and they can see you and talk to you back. We install those security parameters.
Yeah. Is that something that could, and again, I'm not necessarily dictating or making recommendations of your business, but could that be something that is just on all the time? I mean, that may not cause any particular, big disruptions. If it became a concern, and I don't know that it is or would be, but is that something that could be left on?
It could be, but because of the amount of foot traffic and because it would steal the professionals away from servicing their clients, we have that kind of foot traffic. We've never had what we call a fumble in our current salon suite in 3 years. Never had an occurrence. So, a lot of people had that same concern when we opened up the first location. It's been in existence for 3 years now, but we haven't found any security problems, that we had any security problems.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll move forward in closing public comment. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, if this is Jones, if I could just make one more brief comment, if I could, just very quickly.
Go ahead, sir.
And that is that I really, I'm liking what I'm hearing. And perhaps if this were the motto, it could change the trajectory of, first of all, the number of barbershops and beauty salons that we have, because it centralizes it. But then I also like the shared concept of these individual businesses being in one place and pooling their resources and helping one another, and business to business and sharing. So this might be the way that we in the future in the city of South Fulton look at how to approach concerns about the large amounts of cosmetology businesses throughout the city. That's my comment.
And
Final comment. I'm shutting up.
To our credit, our business model, for the most part, when we come in, it makes traditional salon owners and barbershops a little nervous, because we reinvest our profits back into a duplication of the same in the areas that would accept us. You know, I wish I could purchase a new car, but I just can't.
All right,
So,
sir.
but we're willing to put our money where our mouth is.
All right, thank you for your time and your comments, sir. Thank you. And again, board members, let's entertain a motion to close public comment.
A motion that we close public comment.
Granted, is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly, Commissioner Weatherly, you're muted. Commissioner Williams, is he still with us? Okay. Seems like we might have a. Oh, okay. Williams is gone.
We may have lost one person.
Williams, yes. Okay, as it stands, that vote passes.
Thank you, sir. Entertain a motion to approve, deny, or defer.
This is Commissioner Jones, and I make a motion to approve U21-004.
Granted, is there a second?
I second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
I think it was
Commissioner Floyd.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll vote, please?
Yes, Ms. Weatherly, if you can't unmute, can you type something in the chat, please? All right, Commissioner Brown,
Yay.
Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
thank you. Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Williams. Oh, not here. Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly, Commissioner Weatherly. Okay, as it stands, that vote is approved.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me just say, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in this evening, and thank you, commissioners, for helping navigate through this heavy agenda on this evening. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
And I want to thank you, Commissioner Reynolds, for always keeping us on track and bringing the history of the city to our meetings.
Thank you as well.
I agree. I agree.
Yes, sir.
It is, the vote has been granted. Is there a second?
A second.
Probably moved in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, staff, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown,
I don't want to go. No, yay.
I can't continue with the roll call now. Commissioner Hadley,
Yay.
Commissioner Jones,
Yay.
Commissioner Walters,
Yay.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yay.
Commissioner Weatherly. As it stands, that vote passes to adjourn.
Thank you,
Yay.
sir.
Thank you all so much. This was an excellent meeting this evening.
Good night. Thank you, staff.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, staff. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.